Yo, it's Trent. I hope everyone's having a good day, good week. NFL draft tonight, so we'll see who the Bears get. Hopefully, fucking someone good. But I'm talking about I was in a wrestling match, dude, and not like for school or sport or anything. Like I wrestled this kid straight after work, and it was pretty entertaining. So I'm gonna talk about that. So for a little bit, I worked at Portillo's right when I was a freshman, or maybe I was a sophomore. But either way, when I would get done with Portillo's, I would smoke with this group of people, right? And it only lasted for like 2 weeks that I would smoke with this little group of people. And I never hung out with them before this either. So it was just like a quick little phase. And I would go to work a long time. I'd get done with school and work from like 4 p.m. to till close, so 11 p.m., 11:30, but sometimes I wouldn't get home till like 12:30 a.m. Because closing. But I would just go over there and smoke, especially on weekends, right? So it was one of those days, right, where I got done, and one of the kids that I was working with, we were both going to the same place. So I was giving him a ride, and he's like, yo, let's go to the place. I'm like, bet, let's smoke with them. And we get there, and there's this kid, and I don't know what to call him, or I don't think I should say his name because I'm sure he'll see this, but there was this random kid, right? And I'd been friends with him a little bit, and I actually watched him get into a real fight with somebody, and it was funny as fuck. He won, and it was pretty entertaining. But anyways, so we get there and we're smoking, doing the usual stuff, right? And I got my full Portillo's stuff on. I got the Portillo's hat, the button, I got the vest, the shirt, the pants, the whole thing. Just repping Portillo's, right? Playing music, hanging out. Eventually, we go into this kid's room instead of like the living room. And his room was just a normal room, hardwood floors. That's important, hardwood floors, right? And not a very spacious room. It was big, but there was a lot of shit everywhere. So like, there was only a little bit of room to either sit on the bed or stand, in between the dresser and bed. But there wasn't it wasn't like a walk-in closet, you couldn't like walk around. It was just a big room filled with shit on the outside and a little bit of space in the middle. So I'm kind of just standing in the middle, and they let me take over the speaker. Hold on, let me fix this. There we go. So I got the speaker and I was playing Peep, which you don't always play by people, especially back then. Not as many people listened to him, but they didn't care. They liked him, which made me appreciate them, right? I was like, hey, they like Peep. They didn't talk shit when I put him on. So I was enjoying that, right? And we're just hanging around, and one of the kids, the dude whose house it was, and the dude that I drove from work with, right? Them two wanted to have a little friendly wrestling match, right? So they have a wrestling match, and they're both bigger guys, so they kind of were just at a stalemate and pushed each other over onto the bed, and it was kind of like a blocking drill for football, But there wasn't any like slams or anything like that, right? And the rules were just go till someone quits, no punching, no like biting, pinching, shit like that, right? Nothing like that, and just go till someone quits or taps out. That was the rules. So once they got done, the other kid that was there, the one that I said, the random kid earlier, right? The one friend that wasn't usually there, but I've seen him a couple times. He was like, Trent, do you want to wrestle? And he was younger than me, right? But I just got off a fucking like 6-7 hour shift, and I had school, and I've been up for like, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 hours. But I'm like, bet, all right, let's do it, And I had confidence, but I also remember the kid was like an actual wrestler. So I didn't know how it would go. And I was wearing like the fucking tight work clothes and or maybe it wasn't jeans, but work pants, They weren't very flexible, but I was like, you know what, let me give this a chance. And so our little wrestling match starts. And to be honest, he was stronger than I expected, right? So for a little bit, he didn't have me in a headlock, but he had like my upper body kind of pinned to the side, and we were just at like a stalemate, like the two guys were, the first guys that wrestled. And then he got me. He did a little trip, right? He kicked the back of my left ankle, and I ate shit. I fell right down. He fell right on top of me, right? But when he fell on top of me, I grabbed his head and put him in a headlock. So I'm like wrenching his head like this, and he's on top of me. But I had a good choking, right? I can't fucking like the guillotine, you know, like UFC shit. Oh, that was the pen that just fell. Gotta love that. So basically, I have him in a headlock, right? And I thought I was gonna win. I was squeezing as hard as I could. I was choking the shit out of him, and he was making little gurgling noises, you know? It's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, this dude's gonna tap, you know? And he slammed my ass right before that, so I felt kind of good about it, you know? I was like, oh, I'm gonna win, right? And he lifts his head back really fast, right? So I'm like holding on still, and I lift up like a half sit up, right? And he dug his fingers right in between like my third and fourth rib on the left side. Dude, he dug his fingers in. And I don't know why that pissed me off, but that kind of, in my mind, was in like the pinching rule, or, you know, I feel like you shouldn't be jabbing in the ribs with the fingers, you know, it didn't feel good. So as I had him up, you know, and I had his head, I just, you know, did some WWE shit, because we're still like he was on his knees trying to get his head free from my arms, and I'm like getting lifted up so my back's above the ground, but like my ass and the back of my legs are on the ground, you know? And I just DDT'd him. I just grabbed his head and fucking yanked back and went straight onto the hardwood, right? And there was a loud like groan noise, and everybody was like, oh shit. And then I got up, you know, and I realized I probably shouldn't have done that. And I looked at him, and he's like rolling around. He's like, oh, my head. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you fucking, like, you pinched me, you know? You poked me or something. Like, I just reacted. He's like, it's all good, you know? No worries, no hard feelings. But he's just holding his head. He's like, God damn, this thing hurts. And he's like, I feel like I'm concussed. He's like, you got to feel this thing. And we feel the top of his head. There was a huge bump, like, right here from me fucking slamming his head into the ground. But he was a nice kid. There was no hard feelings or anything like that. Like, he let it go, too. And I don't know, I feel kind of bad that I did that. But we were in a wrestling match, and, you know, it probably just would have ended in a choke thing. But he jabbed his fingers right into the side of my ribs. So I was like, fuck it, you know, we gotta win. Got a little too competitive. But that's just a fucking wrestling match. I got a couple comments on the rehab stories, you know. And if you've been there or anything like that and you made it out, you're all good, super good for you. That's fucking awesome, right? But not everybody gets to, so, you know, it's good if you made it out. I'm glad I did and all that shit. So, yeah. Tomorrow we'll have a new story. I got some edibles, so I'm thinking about just eating all of them, and that could be a story this week. So we'll see, we'll find out. And again, check out the draft tonight, because the Bears are already becoming the best team in the NFL, all right? And they're about to draft some fucking playmakers. So check that out. Have a good day, and peace out.